affecting customers along.
Expect this first thing in the morning. We've had a lot of rain overnight. Lawrence County, Union County, and Spartanburg County. Of course, if you've been listening to Nicole, you know what's going on here. You've got to get into your safe place if you're in the track of this area of rotation that we're seeing on radar. This is a radar indicated tornado. This is not one that has been spotted, but the National Weather Service does continue the warning after monitoring this rotation. Still sees that there's some potential for this to produce a tornado. And you can see here the kink in the line just to the south of Lawrence. That's where we're looking at the potential rotation along this line of thunderstorms. We're dealing with the remnants of a tropical system, and when that happens, you end up with a lot of twisting and turning of the winds of the atmosphere. And if you were with us earlier in the evening, we had quite a bit of this in areas like Oconee County, northeast Georgia, and now we're seeing it in a line of storms moving through. Now, if you're in Spartanburg, you're not included. The city of Spartanburg, but just extreme southern Spartanburg County, Enoree included in this warning as well, Lawrence County, and we'll do a storm track here in a second to kind of give you a better idea. But yeah, we're Facebook Live as well as staying with this until the warning is over. And again, this is an incredibly dangerous situation. I know Nicole was telling you this is a time when maybe your kids are still asleep. Maybe the alert woke you up. You want to go ahead and get the kids up, get them into a safe place. If you're in Waterloo, if you're in Lawrence, Enoree, any of these locations up toward areas and communities around Presbyterian College, Lydia Mills, these are some smaller communities, and there's some that didn't even get picked up on our storm tracker. So you want to make sure that you are in your safe place, and we can review those tornado safety precautions as well, as we've had. We haven't had a lot of these lately. Not a lot of reasons to practice necessarily, but you want to get your family into the lowest floor of your home, away from windows. Hallway, bathroom, or closet would be the best spot, but every house is different. You just want to make sure you put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. Protect your head, abandon mobile homes, because those are never safe places during a tornado. So again, tornado warning has been issued for Spartanburg, Union, and Lawrence counties. And we're, again, Facebook Live, giving you kind of a behind-the-scenes look in the studio as well as being on air with this. And you can see we've got a flash flood warning, too, in northeast Georgia. But our main issue right now is this tornado warning embedded in that heavy rain that's been coming down in Lawrence County, also Greenwood County, Nicole.
Yeah, the intensity of this rainfall makes it really difficult to see if a tornado has officially formed. And that's why we're calling this a radar indicated tornado. The rotation is there and the atmosphere is primed and ready. Like Kendra mentioned, that happens a lot with these tropical systems that kind of dissipate over the southeast over a number of days. The interesting thing about this storm is that it's slower moving than what we tend to see sometimes at this, in these systems. They can move at 40, 50, 60 miles per hour from west to east. This one is moving at about 25 miles per hour, which means you're going to have to stay in your safe place a little bit longer. Like we mentioned, doing these storm tracks right through this region. The most imminent concern is to Cross Hill, Mountville, Maddens, Lawrence, and Presbyterian College. You live beyond that, however, into areas like, Clinton, Enoree, and Cross Keys out in Union County there. That's where the system will go next. So you have a little more time to prepare in Enoree and Cross Keys. You might want to, wait 5-10 minutes and then wake the kids if we still have to talk about this, if it doesn't fall apart. But the imminent concern is Lawrence County.
Yeah, and Nicole, just mentioning some viewers on Facebook saying that the sirens are going off in Landrum, even northern Spartanburg County, but right now the threat is just the extreme southern tip of Spartanburg County.
And they're probably set on county-wide alerts. When something like this pops up, if any piece of the county is, under these alerts, under these warnings, sometimes the major, areas will just take over with their sirens. Southern Spartanburg County, if you are around the I-26 area, basically toward Enoree, we're talking south of Roebuck, south of Woodruff, Roebuck, Woodruff, Spartanburg, you're actually not in this warning and not expected expected to get into this warning at least over the next hour, if not longer. Not as much concern there, but the southern tip of Spartanburg County and into the southern tip of Union County, also most of Lawrence County now, are the areas of concern. So we're watching it all very closely. And we do keep wanting to look at this area on the velocity scans, because this little spot just south of the city of Lawrence is what's concerning to us right now. This little kink, like Kendra mentioned, in this velocity scan, where you see the reds and greens combine, and we're watching this little blip that almost looks like the letter S or a backward S. That's where we have the possible rotation as the winds try to adjust and shift.
Yeah, and this is actually more intense rotation that we're seeing right now than we did with the storms yesterday. If you caught us, we were covering Oconee County storms up in Rabun County, Stevens County, and they had very mild, subtle rotation. This is pretty significant. It stands out. Doesn't mean that there's a tornado on the ground. It may just be upper level rotation at this point. But at this juncture, the area we're most worried about is just south of Lawrence, basically between Lawrence and Mountville, and we'll be moving closer to Clinton here shortly. So we just want to make sure you are in your safe place. This is just to the east of 221 in Lawrence. So you may see Spartanburg and Union on the warnings. These are areas where the worst of the storm has not gotten to yet, but you need to be on the alert, because this will be moving into Union over the next few minutes. It's not moving in exceptionally fast, but still at 25 miles per hour, it could definitely sneak up on you if you're not paying attention. So again, between 221 and I-26, that's where we're seeing the worst of the weather at this point, and we'll continue to monitor that. But there's that just beast of a line that is continuing to bring very heavy rain. And, our other concern for the overnight was flash flooding. That's one of the reasons that we've had the Weather Center staffed all night, is because we've had such intense rainfall with these storms. So where you're not under the tornado warning, spots like up in Enoree and down toward Greenwood, you're going to have ponding of water. For those who are getting out to go to a church service sometime in the next couple hours, you're going to run into some very heavy rain. But our flash flood watch actually is north of these locations, where we've had a little more long-lasting rainfall. I think that's one reason we haven't had a lot of issues south of I-85. This is the first time we've had really heavy rain in these spots. But just to reiterate, if you're just joining us, I know a lot of you may be just waking up on your Sunday morning. This is a tornado warning that is primarily for Lawrence County, but it includes the southern tip of Spartanburg County and a very small portion of Union County as well. But this is mostly for Lawrence County, and it is going to continue until 7 o'clock. So you can see here, it's embedded among a lot of rain right now. We're going to continue to see this threat shift eastward over the morning. Notice there's a break off to the west. So once this initial, or this batch of rain moves off to the east, our severe threat will at least go down for the short term. We'll still have a chance of severe weather later on this evening, or later on this afternoon, possibly into the early evening hours as it looks right now.
Exactly. So this is a long-standing issue, and this is what we're looking at when these large-scale hurricanes and tropical systems break down over the southeast. We'll continue watching, all morning long as we go forward. So there's going to be something here, basically, over the next at least 30 minutes or so as we continue watching here. This is what we have going on across the Carolinas, and we'll be watching this closely. So again, Lawrence County, you're the one under the tornado warning this morning. It was issued shortly after 6:20, and it's going all the way till 7 a.m. Kendra is here with me tracking this system, and if you are in southern Spartanburg County toward Enoree, if you're in Union County near Cross Keys, you do want to get into your safe place. Lawrence County, really from the city of Lawrence to the south and to the east toward Clinton. These are areas that are under the tornado warning currently. If the system holds together into the next hour, we might see it out into more of Union County and more of Spartanburg County. But for now, Lawrence County is the area of imminent concern where you want to get into your safe place. We want you in an interior room at the lowest level of your home, away from any windows, a closet, a bathroom, places that are on the inside of your home, put a lot of walls between you and the outside, and make sure that you are telling your family members, get people out of bed if you're in these places. If you're in Waterloo, you're actually safe from this now. The worst of it is moving to your east. I know you're technically still right on the edge of the warning line, but the system is moving 25 miles per hour, so it's already up toward Lawrence and almost to Clinton. So if you're in Waterloo, you're actually safe. You can kind of get back into bed. You're not going to see much, even with rain over the next few hours. But this is where we want you if you're in Lawrence, in Clinton, in Enery. Lowest floor of your home, away from windows. You want to get to a hallway, a bathroom, or a closet. Protect your head. Make sure you get your family out of bed and get to the safe place. And abandon mobile homes. Abandoning a mobile home is a tough thing to do, especially in the middle of the darkest hours of the morning when it's raining, but it's what you have to do during a tornado warning, Hendra.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that circulation too with this, with what's left of Delta out there. And that's what's really causing this twisting and turning of in the atmosphere that is giving us the issues right now. So again, we are tracking the remnants of Delta that will continue to push off toward the east slowly this morning. But right now, a tornado warning is out, and that is going to continue for areas in Spartanburg County and in Lawrence County. So you can see exactly where here in Union as well. Now they're very small portions of Spartanburg and Union counties here. You can continue to see that we have the tornado warning that continues across Spartanburg County. Just putting up our crawl system as well. Notice that Lawrence County has the majority of this warning in it. I'm going to take the actual polygon here off so you can see exactly what's happening. And this line is just a mess. It's very difficult to see exactly where you would find a tornado. That's why we have to use our storm relative velocity to really pinpoint that location. And where it is, and you can kind of see it here, where these brighter yellows and reds come together, and that kink in the line, it's just to the south of Lawrence. So around Lawrence County, that's where we're going to have the greatest risk of a potential tornado. And I'm going to put this, let me just give you a quick storm track here as the storm continues to move off into Union County at about 25 miles per hour. Looking at this storm hitting Presbyterian College, Cross Keys. That's what we're looking at when it comes to the worst of the weather right now. You can also see that we've got some extremely heavy rain for parts of Lawrence County also that is moving through the southern part of the county and also will be getting into spots like Union County over the next hour or so. So notice at Presbyterian College in the track of this area of rotation. This is not a tornado that we've seen on the ground, but it's been a Doppler indicated tornado at this point. So this is something you have to take seriously. And chances are we probably aren't going to see this on the ground. It's still, the sun is yet to come up out there. We are dealing with a rain wrap tornado if there is a tornado on the ground. And this is just an incredibly dangerous situation. A lot of people like to sleep in on a Sunday morning and instead dealing with something like this. If you're in the community of Clinton, I need you in your safe place right now. Tornado warning continues for Lawrence County over toward Union County, Cross Keys. You're going to be in the track of this, also Clinton. And again, that's going to be continuing over the next 15 minutes. And Nicole, everything I've seen, it's possible it could get extended after 7 o'clock unless we see this rotation start to diminish a little bit. Likely we're going to continue to see the threat last, on and on into at least possibly parts of Union County.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're really alerting you to make sure that you are in this safe place. Kendra, if you wouldn't mind for a moment just walking to the back and making sure that this microphone is also
sure.
up and ready. I'll take over this for you for a quick second here. The tornado warning across our region is for Lawrence County in the imminent concern. Union County and southern Spartanburg counties are where you need to see a little bit more of that, but we'll continue to look for what we see across our entire area. Lawrence County, again, you're in the imminent concern. This pocket of major rain is wrapping around the system that could at any moment produce a tornado. So that is what we really need you to be very much aware of going forward. And that's going to be what we continue to watch for here. So Spartanburg, Lawrence, and Union counties are all officially under this tornado warning. Emery and Cross Keys are the places in Spartanburg and Union County that are under this warning. But we're talking the southern tip here. You get up toward Woodruff, you get up towards Spartanburg City Center, and we'll continue to watch for all of this going across our area. So that's something just to be mindful of. We'll get back to that velocity scan where you can really see, you know, what we're watching for here as far as this storm system. I'm going to pop back up this warning button.
Yeah, and just a heads up too. Sorry, we're having a few audio issues, but yeah, the tornado warning again continuing for Lawrence County, Union County, and Spartanburg County, and that's going to go until 7 a.m. Again, we continue to track this as a team here this time of morning because this is a situation where you know that we have a tropical system nearby. There is a chance just about at any time that we're going to have the potential for a tornado to develop. But the issue is this is at night. This is, you know, in the dark. It's sun's about to come up, and we're going to be dealing with potentially some very strong wind, possibly some very heavy rain in areas like Union County over the next, I'd say, 30 to 40 minutes, even though the actual warning is going to expire by the time we get into 7 o'clock. So how much longer? That's about 11 more minutes that we need you in your safe place this morning. So that is going to encompass areas like Clinton, over toward Cross Keys, some smaller communities that may not even pop up in the storm tracker. So this is, again, not something that's covering all of Spartanburg County, not all of Union County, but just a very small tip of the southern tip of Spartanburg County near Emery, and then over toward Cross Keys in Union County. Otherwise, most of this is in Lawrence County, and there's a fresh storm track of kind of the broad area that we are watching at this point, and this puts it into Clinton in just a couple of minutes. So we need to make sure you are in your safe place. Cross Keys, we've mentioned Reno, Joanna, Presbyterian College, all of these spots. If you live anywhere around any of these communities, we need to make sure that you're in your safe place. So it looks like that we've had a couple new reports on National Weather Service chat, but one of them from Habersham County of a flash flood, and then we have a strong thunderstorm that has been issued for Lawrence, Spartanburg, and Union now. So that may be a sign that they're going to be removing the tornado warning shortly and replacing it with that. We'll see though, because we still have some rotational concern here with the storm as it continues to move through Lawrence County. I'm gonna see if we can take a look at that rotation too. Yeah, I want to make sure and we'll keep up some of that information on the screen as well. And there we go. You can see the bright green that is just to the right of Lawrence or to the east. That is some gusty wind. Now, I will say the other side of that, not as bright. The red is a little darker. That means that the rotation is not as balanced. It may be becoming a little bit more disorganized, and that may be the sign that showing that we may be seeing a weakening storm here.
Yeah, and you can also see from what we looked at even just 10 minutes ago, the system does not have as much of that kinked shape that we watch for very closely as we look at these storms. Now, obviously, you can see a little bit of that, like right where Kendra mentioned, some of this really bright green. That's where we are watching for some incredibly gusty winds, but just to the south of Lawrence now, the line is a little bit less intense, which is good news, but the warning is still in place, officially only until 7 o'clock. We'll wait and see if they're able to, eliminate the concern by then. But for now, the warning does continue for Lawrence County, and it is mainly for the eastern side. So the city of Lawrence, the Clinton area, and if you are in Union County near Cross Keys or in Spartanburg County near Enoree, these are places to get in your safe place right now. We're watching all of this amidst a ton of rainfall. The intensity of this rain, I'll put a query on this really quickly so that we can see just how intensely this rain is coming down. We're talking about over 2 inches in an hour. So even if it sits over you for just 30 minutes, you're looking at over an inch of rain. And that's just going to be intense, Kendra, because it won't allow us to see what's happening in the sky.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem at this point, is that anything that we get when it comes to a tornado would be rain wrapped, and it would be in the darkness for the most part. Sun will be coming up here. Nicole, you know better than me, at 7:30-ish. Yeah. So it's still very, very dark, and it's usually darkest before that sunrise. So that makes this situation really extra dangerous. But just to reiterate, we are seeing that this storm is starting to slowly weaken. The tornado warning continues, though, for Lawrence, Spartanburg, and Union counties because of this area that is now just east of Lawrence near Clinton, along 76, I-26, and a lot of times National Weather Service will give us a heads up as to whether they plan to expire let the warning expire, because we are getting pretty close to that happening. But all we know at this point is they have issued a special weather statement on the storm, basically saying it's a strong thunderstorm through 7:30. They want folks to really be vigilant and watching out for this storm as it moves through. So,
and that would mean even if you don't have to be in a tornado warning setup, you still want to stay away from windows and make sure that you're in a safe enough place. Of course, the tornado warning is when you need to be fully encompassed in a safe place in your home, in a bathtub or under a cabinet of some sort if you can. But when there's a severe thunderstorm, you really just want to stay indoors and away from windows, just to make sure if any debris kind of pops up around you, you're not getting impacted by that. The wind may not be strong enough to blow your windows out, but a tree branch clearly could. So there's a lot that can still happen here. We have not heard yet if they're going to allow this warning to expire, but like Kendra mentioned, as the system becomes slightly less,
that we're going to continue
see this be allowed to expire.
Sure, some of the issues that are in our area are passing through. Just taking an update on
southern Spartanburg County and western Union counties. And not only are we dealing with some intense wind along with this system, we're also looking at quite a bit of rainfall. We now have a new event of a tornado warning that is for Cherokee County and Union County, of course. So it does look like there will be a continuance of this. I'm going to try to pull up the new warning, Kendra, on top of this radar.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it looks like farther north along the line, we have a new tornado warning for Cherokee and Union counties, and that just came down on our phone, so sometimes it takes a second to come down on our system. So there we go. Actually, it looks like, I guess it is the continuance. I figured when I heard Cherokee County that it may be a little farther up along the line, but it's basically taking that same storm and carrying it on through Union County and into Cherokee County, and that's until 7:30, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got another 35 minutes or so. We're going to have to monitor this tornado warning as it continues on through Union County, Spartanburg County. This is going to include not the city of Spartanburg, but it is the eastern part of Spartanburg County, over toward Packlet, down toward Enoree, south of Woodruff, areas like Union, Jonesville, and we can take a tour of these areas as we zoom in on the polygons, find some of those communities that are impacted by this. Again, city of Lawrence, the threat is moving past you at this point, but right now the next in line will be Presbyterian College over toward Tylersville, Clinton. You are in the track or path of this potential tornado. We have not had any reports of a tornado on the ground yet, but we are watching this one closely because we've had indications that there is a possible tornado touchdown at any moment. It's the rotation within the storm has been even stronger than what we were watching last night, late evening. So I'm going to hand it off to Nicole for a second so I can take a look at a couple of things.
Yeah, absolutely, Kendra. We are continuing to watch all of this for you this morning. Again, a tornado warning has been issued earlier for Lawrence, Union, and Spartanburg counties. That has now been extended to include parts of southern Cherokee counties, the Sarrett area now under this warning. It's a little ways away from you in Sarrett, so this is the perfect time for you to prepare. But if you are in the city of Lawrence, the city of Clinton, it's about 5 miles from you in Clinton right now, and the rotation is in the atmosphere and it's primed and ready for a tornado to form at any moment. There's actually no easy way for us to know in this exact moment if a tornado is on the ground. It's so rain wrapped, it's difficult to see what's going on. So just keep that in mind and just know that that's what we continue to look for as we go into this warning zone. So there it is. The polygons show in red the areas of Lawrence, Union, Cherokee County, just that.
Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg has issued a tornado warning for Central Lawrence County in upstate South Carolina, Southeastern Spartanburg County in upstate South Carolina, Southwestern Cherokee County in upstate South Carolina, Union County in upstate South Carolina, until 7:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 6:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 8 miles northeast of Lawrence, or 6 miles north of Clinton, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Buffalo around 7:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Union, Jonesville, and Monarch Mill around 7:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this dangerous thunderstorm include Cross Keys, Sarrett, Pauline, Cross Anchor, and Sedalia. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Tornadoes are extremely difficult to see and confirm at night. Do not wait to see or hear the tornado. Take cover now. Please report damaging winds, hail, or flooding
Of Lawrence. It's really at the intersection of Union, Spartanburg, and Lawrence counties, over I-26, and really kind of just crossing right over. This is our primary area of concern when it comes to a tornado developing. And again, this is right around 385 I-26 interchange, and that's going to be moving closer to Cross Keys. So really, Cross Keys, you are right there in that track as this moves out, and it has a little bit of an S shape to it still. It almost kind of came back, Nicole. Yeah. The shape of the radar and the heavy rain pushing through. That gives an indicator that there is a potential rotation within the storm. Continuing on until 7:30 today, or this morning, we'll be watching this area come out of Lawrence County through that very southern tip of Spartanburg County into the western part of Union County. So let's talk tornado safety. If you're kind of newly included in this warning, and we'll do a fresh storm track on it shortly as well. But want to remind you of some of the things we need to do. Want to get to the lowest floor of your home, away from windows. A hallway, bathroom, or a closet would be a good place to go if you are, really just kind of debating and haven't picked that safe place in your house. You want to protect your head and abandon mobile homes. Mobile homes are never a good place to be. If you've got the time, you just need to get out and get to a more sturdy structure. So back to the radar as we continue to track this storm in Lawrence County that will be quickly moving into Union County. And what happened here, we had a tornado warning that went till 7. It has been extended farther off to the north and east to include Cherokee County now, and now it goes until 7:30. So tornado warning continues for those in Lawrence County, east of Lawrence, and then on over toward Union. And it's so dark right now, it's going to be very difficult to see much of this. And once we get this initial batch out of here, the severe threat for at least the next few hours is going to go down significantly. Again, this is a situation where we're going to actually have a couple of opportunities for severe weather today. We have more that is out to the west. In fact, notice those tornado reports around Atlanta. That was from yesterday, what moved through yesterday evening. And now as the remnants of this pushes through, we're seeing even more activity this morning, and we still have what's back toward Atlanta to move through this afternoon. And as that happens, we could see showers and storms develop, and we're obviously getting destabilized. We're seeing the atmosphere become more conducive for tornado development. So to recap, we're looking at Lawrence, Union, and Spartanburg counties in as well as Cherokee County in the warning until 7:30. So I know this is catching a lot of you off guard as you're waking up, starting your day, and you may be right in the middle of all of this. And that's why we're going to stay on the air with you, keep you posted on this, because of the fact that we know this is scary. I mean, we've had many tornadoes in 2020 in our area, and we're hoping we don't add to the total today, but we know how dangerous they can be. And, you know, this is a situation that we don't take lightly. And obviously, those around southern Spartanburg County really going to have to watch this closely. The main part of the storm still located in Lawrence, and it looks to be pushing more toward that Union Spartanburg County line and then eventually into Union. And this is the way we can really pinpoint the area of concern, and that is looking at the velocity signature. This is the wind going toward and away from the radar. Red goes toward green, or sorry, green goes toward, red goes away, and it shows that twisting and turning, and it's really right at I-26 and 385 interchange there, and it's going to be pushing off to the north and east, so really hugging the Union Spartanburg County line at this point. So
storm track, Kendra, get you a little bit of a view here of what we can expect here over the next 20 to 30 minutes. It does look like places like Cross Keys, Filson Crossroads. Some of these are smaller towns, but ones that you still need to be very, very cautious. Sedalia also under this warning right now. Carlisle, you're a little to the east, so there's good news there in that you need to stay aware, but you're not officially in this warning at the moment. Areas like Lockhart, a little farther from you, maybe about 30 minutes away, but still a place to be prepared and get in your safe place. Kendra's been talking about how Lawrence County is technically still in this warning, but the storm is expected to move into areas of southern Spartanburg and Union counties really within minutes here. So the city of Lawrence, you're now clear. Clinton, stay in your safe place just a few minutes longer, but you're almost in the clear in Clinton, and we'll continue to monitor all of this really throughout the morning. The warning goes until 7:30. At this point, with how ripe the atmosphere is, it's possible that as the system continues to push to the north and east, that we could see it get extended again. Kendra, if we could pop up that text box, we need to make sure we keep the tornado information on, because we don't have closed captioning right now for our folks who need a little more of a visual there. This is what we've got going on. Lawrence, Union, Spartanburg, and Cherokee counties under this tornado warning until 7:30 this morning. This is going to be what we continue watching for, and Kendra has it circled there, the area of greatest concern. So just north of Clinton by a couple of miles, just west of Cross Keys, and just barely south of Enoree, needing to be on high alert and in your safe places as we watch a very intense rain event coupled with a tornado threat that could at any moment spawn a tornado. So places like Kendra just showed us here in this storm track, West Springs, Bonham, and Jonesville areas, all under this tornado warning that goes until 7:30. We'll continue to track all of this for you because it's a system, like Kendra mentioned, that is very broad, pretty widespread, as we watch the remnants of Hurricane Delta just dissipate over the southeast. The actual center of circulation, Kendra, is still far to our west into areas of West Georgia and eastern Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, the problem here is that we're going to be looking at the worst of the weather potentially even happening this this afternoon as temperatures warm up a bit. We're hoping that that worst threat is actually going to shift east of us thanks to the fact that we've seen such dangerous storms today. But we all need to be on guard for more potential severe weather as we go through the afternoon. So even though we're getting this morning, doesn't mean we're completely in the clear when it comes to storms. So I know that a lot of you are going to be, breathing a sigh of relief as this moves out of your area, but I need you to remain vigilant through the day, just because we will still have that threat as we go through the overnight hours, as we go into the afternoon hours, and of course, we've had it through overnight tonight too. Take a look at the tornado safety precautions. Just a quick reminder of what to do in case you are realizing that you are in the path of this storm just now. We need you to get to your lowest floor, away from windows, hallway, bathroom, or closet. Good places to be. Just be sure to protect your head. If you go into a bathroom, you can bring a pillow with you. Get into the tub. That's usually a good place to be. And this sounds very dramatic. There might not even be a tornado on the ground, but there could be. And we know across our area, we had someone die because of a tornado last year in Seneca. I mean, you just can't get more serious than that. So that's why we continue to repeat ourselves here. You may say, wait a minute, I feel like they're saying the same thing over and over again. Well, that really is what we're doing. We're trying as hard as we can to get as much information in and make sure that you know exactly what's going to happen. The storm is now crossing over into Union County right now. So we're seeing this start to transition to Union County, also over toward the border of Spartanburg County. So
Lawrence County does still have a lot of rainfall.
Yes.
The actual area of rotation is getting a little bit more into Union County. So even though Lawrence County, you're going to still hear some thunder, you're going to hear that heavy rain coming down over 76, over I-26. You're actually clearing out of the actual tornado threat as that part moves into areas of southern Spartanburg County near Enoree and into Union County near Cross Keys. These are places of next concern now as the system continues to push to the north. Cherokee County, you're also under this warning, but it's about 20 to 25 minutes from getting to your line of the counties. So you're under the warning for preparation purposes at this hour. So keeping a close eye on what's going on here just to monitor the entire system. Kendra, you said there were several tornado warnings last night that didn't look quite so put together as this one. This is a rain-wrapped situation here, so it's difficult to tell at this early hour when it's dark outside and when, of course, the rain is coming down at such intense rates, 2 inches per hour in some spots here that are highlighted in red. You can see they're right along I-76. Kendra's showing us now that the velocity scan, which helps us to see what rotation is potential in the upper atmosphere, a little bit less pronounced than the last 20 minutes, but that's some good news.
Yeah, I'd say, definitely less organized.
Less organized, but still strong enough to cause this concern.
Absolutely. And again, across Keys, this is really right on top of you. This looks like a mess, but what we're looking at here is some spin in the atmosphere where you see some of the red and green kind of kinked up together. That's an indicator of the wind coming toward and away from the radar. And as we see that, and the fact that they're closely packed like that indicates to us that there's still a decent chance that we could end up with a funnel cloud or a tornado potentially on the ground. So Cross Keys, you are right in the middle of all of this right now. And Nicole, we can zoom in even a little closer too. We've got a lot of smaller communities included here between Clinton and Cross Keys. So we're talking about, Filson Crossroads, right along 56. This is where some of the worst weather is located. We're continuing to watch the area of rotation again become a little bit less organized, but still holding together for spots like Cross Keys and Filson Crossroads. So these are smaller communities, Tylersville as well. This is where the worst of the weather is, and it's quickly shifting into Union County and right along that Spartanburg County line. So anyone that lives along 49, be a good be a good thing for you to be in your safe place right now too, because this storm is going to be moving over you. But no word from National Weather Service as to whether we've had any damage reports or anything like that. But we certainly anticipate that we're going to have at least some flooding, possibly some downed trees, because no matter what, we've seen some very gusty wind out of this. Even if a tornado is not spotted on the ground, there is a major concern here for at least some downed trees, possibly power lines, and also for flooded roadways. That's one issue, is that we've had incredible amounts of rain overnight, and a lot of that fell in the southern part of the upstate, where technically we were supposed to see more rain farther north. That happens with these tropical systems. Sometimes the heaviest rain sets up in a different spot than anticipated. That's why we all had to be on guard this weekend for that heavy rain. And then we have that tornado warning that continues. This is the same storm we initially started with, that is moving out of Lawrence County now into the southeastern portion of Spartanburg County, Union County. You have the most of the warning in your county. This is where we're going to see the worst of it. Cross Keys, this is really right on top of you, and then it's going to go over toward Union. Jonesville will potentially be impacted by this as well. So that's our main concern at this point, is the fact that this is going to sneak up on people if they are asleep, if they didn't have alerts on or anything like that. So if you're up and watching us, but you have a family member that lives in these areas, give them a call, wake them up, because again, they may not have the Fox Carolina app that sends the alerts, or they may not have a NOAA weather radio, because I know a lot of people that sleep till about 9 or 10 in the morning on a Sunday morning. Very normal, and this is at a time that could really catch folks off guard, Nicole.
It is, absolutely, and it's a noisy one, of course. We are continuing to see this major rainfall come down, so if you are in areas like Spartanburg City and you're saying, wow, the intensity of this rain, is the tornado right near me? No, you're actually not in the warning in Spartanburg City, but you get down toward places like Roebuck and Pauline and Enery, and you are under this warning. Most of Union County through Union, Lockhart, Jonesville, and Cross Keys, you are under this tornado warning. Those in Lawrence County still under the warning. You can actually start to ease up a little bit. Now, the warning will officially expire coming up at 7:30, but the storm has actually now pushed east into areas of Spartanburg and Union counties now. I'm going to pull the this polygon off just for a moment so that you can see here where the intensity is within the system. It is now east of Lawrence. So even places like Clinton, you're getting into a safer zone, and you'll be in a safer zone now for the next several hours. So you can actually get off your guard in Lawrence and Clinton, and we'll continue to watch all of this going forward into the next few hours.
That's right, Nicole. We continue to watch this as it pushes through Lawrence County, Spartanburg County, and Cherokee County. The worst of it still kind of transitioning out of Lawrence County at this point. Till 7:30, we're going to have to watch out for this threat. I'm going to put a fresh storm track on this, as the worst of it is going to basically be right along this line, and then transitioning potentially up into Cherokee County, but it's not moving all that fast. It's moving at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. It may be speeding up a little bit. Cross Keys, Sedalia, Union, Monarch, you would be in the path of the worst of the weather. Now, if you're waking up in Spartanburg County, if you're waking up in Lawrence County, the worst of the weather is not in Lawrence or the city of Spartanburg, but we are looking at the threat in the southern portion of Spartanburg County. So let me look at that rotation again too. Okay, and we'll circle that here where we have the worst in the way of the weather. Right around here is where we're finding the most for lack of a better term, kind of anomalous velocity signatures here, where we're seeing a bunch of kind of messy, but still there, rotation within the thunderstorm. And that means that at any moment it could put down a tornado. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of eyes and ears out there because it is dark, and it's going to be very difficult to see much. And of course, it's early in the morning and a lot of folks not out and about, and we're thankful for that. At least hopefully a lot of people are home, Nicole, and while dealing with this can hunker down. But really, the worst of this storm right now over Cross Keys.
Exactly, Kendra. And this is also where we'll continue to watch for heavy rainfall to come through over the next several hours. Those in Cross Keys really of the most imminent concern right now, right as Kendra was talking about, on the edge between where the reds and the greens are coming together. Red means the wind is moving away from the radar. Green means it's moving toward. And we tend to see this line between them often with storms. But when you start to see them wave a little bit and you get these bubbles that move instead of a straight line between, they kind of curve a little bit. You can kind of see it there on the broad scale as well. This is where we start to have that concern that rotation is imminent. And while it is radar indicated and it's mainly going to be in the upper atmospheres, at any moment a tornado could come down. And as we watch this, the potential is there that a tornado or even a funnel cloud could drop down from the clouds without us being able to see it. If we can get back to our radar map,
yep, and
you'll
Nicole,
see
just
the intensity of the rain.
And a quick update too, that Lawrence has been removed from the warning.
Great news.
So moving past Lawrence, those in Lawrence can get out of their safe place and breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. We'll adjust the wording there in just a second. I'll take that off the screen.
Yeah, that's really good news. To get anyone in the clear now, we can focus on those going forward into places of southern Union County. If you're in Cross Keys, you're right in the thick of it right now as the system moves through. There's still some heavy rain in Lawrence County, but Lawrence County, you are now clear of any tornado threat for this hour. You may have to be on alert this afternoon, but for now, you're nice and clear. Kendra's putting a fresh storm track on here for us so that we get into the next half an hour. Cross Keys, the city of Union, the Kelly area, all under this tornado warning. Now, Kelly, you're shown here at 7:45. That's technically past the warning time. We're hopeful that by then the system will weaken enough and disorganized enough to not have a concern for you. But in the meantime, have your plan to get into your safe place ready. Cross Keys, again, right in the thick of the heaviest rain, the strong winds, and the potential for rotation. This is going to be the area of greatest concern imminently. But again, Union, you're next in line. And those up in Pauline, even though you're outside of this range of the main piece of the storm, you're still close enough to stay aware and in your safe area. Just have us on your TV or on your Fox Carolina News app, and we'll be able to let you know when you're in the clear. But Kendra's circling it here. This broad area of concern right on the border of Spartanburg and Union counties are of the most imminent concern right now when it comes to this potential rotation that's been noted by the National Weather Service just since shortly after 6 o'clock this morning. So we're going on just about an hour now of possible tornado activity here in the Carolinas.
Yeah, and Nicole, I'm going to put this into loop just to kind of show folks how this has evolved. You can really see down just south of Tylersville how the rotation was really strong. Brighter reds, brighter greens, just indicating stronger winds and a little what we call a couplet coming together. It is beginning to take on a form that looks a little bit more linear to me.
Yes.
But we still have enough of a kink there in this, and I'll circle it here, where there could still be a lingering tornado threat, but we did have a stronger signature down in Lawrence County, Nicole.
And this is really good news for the morning. Of course, anytime we can see weakening in these systems, it's a good thing, but we're still not in the clear, as like we've seen in the earlier hours of this morning, it can take a mere 5 minutes for these systems to reorganize. The atmosphere is primed and ready for that, but we're going to see the threat taper off throughout the morning. So the tornado threat right now is in southern Union County out near Cross Keys, into eastern Spartanburg County out near Enoree and areas just south of Pauline. Union, you are also under this tornado warning right now, and even out to Sarrett in southern Cherokee County. You're a little farther from the system, but technically you are still under the warning if the system holds together. So we're going to watch this very closely. Again, Cross Keys, you're in the thick of it right now with the heaviest winds and the rain. And like Kendra mentioned, even as this system begins begins to hopefully taper off, the wind is still going to be strong enough to cause some damage, possibly have some debris flying around. So staying in your safe place is a good thing. Let's get back up to our tornado safety images there, just so people can see the tips of getting into the safest area across our region. That includes, of course, being on the low floor of your home.
That's right. You know, we always say you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as you can, almost like it's a fortress. So you want to get low, you want to put as many walls between you and these elements, the possible tornado. Get into a hallway, bathroom, or closet away from windows, most interior part of your house. Protect your head. And abandoned mobile homes. That sounds like a very scary prospect to someone who's sitting in a mobile home right now, but you need to have a sturdy structure where you can go, and usually you can get enough warning where you can get out and get to that structure. Now, I will say this has been a very strange system, and we have not had what you would call a whole lot of heads up when it comes to when these tornadoes develop. We just know that this is an environment that is ripe for this kind of thing, and that's one reason that we have been just staying on top of all of this and keeping you posted, because with a tropical system, you get such a dynamic environment that even at 5:36 in the morning, as happened this time, we had a tornado warning, and it is continuing. Usually these can't even hold on that long this time of night, but instead we're getting it right there around Cross Keys, Sedalia. Now, some other spots that are in the path, they're at least included in the warning: Dutchman, West Springs, Bonham, Union, South Hills, Adamsburg, Kelly, Jonesville. So some of these larger communities in Union County, including Cross Keys, Union, Jonesville. If you're located anywhere near those, if you're in one of those smaller towns, but you know you live nearby, same thing with Lockhart, that's where you need to be the most vigilant and in your safe place at this point, Nicole.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are going to be the places that we watch here over the next really almost full 45 minutes still. The warning only goes for another few minutes, but we have not yet gotten any indication from the National Weather Service that they will allow this warning either to expire or to continue. So we're going to keep going with this until we really sit in the all clear in its entirety. Cross Keys area still in the thick of it. And here's the thing, this system's moving a little bit slower than some that come through our area with these tropical systems. So what that means is staying in your safe place a little bit longer is a good thing. Lawrence County, you are now in the clear. I know it's still raining, but you're in the clear from the tornado threat. Cross Keys, Union, Jonesville, all the way up towards Sarrett, you're next in line. Those in Pauline, you're just on the edge of the system, so even though it's likely not to be imminent in the Pauline area, you still have that threat, and of course it's pouring rain near you, so don't be peeking out the windows just yet to see what's going on outside. These are places you want to stay interior to the center of your home.
And Nicole, just a heads up that the tornado warning has been extended for just the same areas until 7:45.
And this is the thing, Kendra said 7:45 now instead of 7:30 for this particular tornado warning, and that's what we've been talking about. The system is not making a forward motion as fast as some that come through our area. So while some will expire within 15 minutes and get to the next town, this system is hovering, and it's only moving at about 25 miles per hour. It sounds like enough to get it out of town, and it will eventually move out, but sometimes these storms move out at about 50 miles per hour. So it's just lingering there in the southwestern tip of Union County right now and pushing right toward the city center of Union. There we go once again with this velocity scan showing the winds moving toward and away the radar. Kendra circling it for us, this little kink in that line. We always see winds moving forward and away from the radar, but when there's a little juggle in that kind of combination between the red and green, that's the area where it's possible that some rotation is trying to take over in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That is radar indicated tornado activity. We can't see it with our eyes because it's pouring down rain, and of course still dark outside, 7:25. The sun has not yet come up, but that is the small area of concern that's going to keep pushing to the north and east right around 25 miles per hour. Now, it may may just barely miss the city center of Union to the west, but that's where we again will continue to watch it. You see that bright spot, that brighter green right there? That is stronger wind that's starting to build in. So regardless, tornado or not, in the end, strong winds could cause damage and give you an issue as far as, you know, your morning commute. If you have anywhere to be this morning, kind of tuck in for a little longer and stay safe. We've got Sedalia, Mean Crossroads, Union, and Kelly all under this potential for imminent danger.
And
Kendra,
for some reason, Jonesville not showing up in that, but also the community of Jonesville also located there.
Right within that
Sometimes
center.
our track doesn't pick up every single one, but all of these spots basically in the central and western portion of Union County right now, and this warning has been extended for another 15 minutes, so we're going until 7:45 with this. As we mentioned, the rotational component of this storm, the area we've been watching for a possible tornado, was the strongest when it was basically crossing right over I-26 here, and you can see that was a little while ago in Lawrence County. Now it has pushed off into Union County and has become a little more broad, has weakened a bit. You're not seeing as many bright colors, but still some gusty wind and enough of a concern where we are holding on to that tornado warning until at least National Weather Service is hanging on to that until 7:45 this morning. And then for the rest, for Union County, this is really the primary concern, but Spartanburg County, you are included in this warning. So all of these communities will do a quick zoom, and Nicole, we can show at least some of the spots in Spartanburg that need to be on guard. City of Spartanburg, of course, doesn't have to worry about this, not included, but certainly, you know, areas along 49, Dutchman, West Springs, right there on the border, Kennedy Mill needing to be on guard.
Absolutely, and that's because the system, you know, is adjusting to where the atmosphere is most primed and ready for it to enter. So even though it has kind of a direct northeastward motion, it could move a mile or two west or east at any moment. So even though the concern is mostly there in western Union County moving up toward 176, those just on that Union County line in Spartanburg County also need to be very, very well aware of what's happening in this region. And of course, southern Cherokee County also under the tornado warning until 7:45. It keeps getting extended, so it's just not falling apart fast enough to limit our concerns. And there it is, that center of circulation area, the actual storm right along the line between the reds and the greens right now. And it has shown some signs of weakening, but not enough to get out of the woods when it comes to a tornado threat. And here's that heavy rainfall. We just have a flood advisory now into areas of the French Broad River up in North Carolina. Widespread rain here happening, downpours in Spartanburg as well as over into Union County, right in the same area that we're watching this rotation. So the tornado warning is now for Union County, eastern Spartanburg County, and southern Cherokee County out near Sarrett for this tornado warning that goes for about another 17 minutes. But we're seeing heavy rain in a lot of places. So just know that this system is still the remnants of what was Hurricane Delta. The center of that circulation is now into northern Alabama and southern Tennessee. And as it continues along that track, that will put us in the prime location for another potential round of severe weather in the afternoon on Sunday. If you're just waking up today, the afternoon will bring another threat. For now, though, this morning threat is with this major area of rain and wind into central and southern Union County. We're watching it in Cross Keys. Cross Keys, you're right on the edge of being in the clear, almost there. So stay tucked in Cross Keys for a little while longer, another 5 minutes or so, and you should be able to get out of your safe place because you're right on that tail end of it. Now, the front edge of this rainfall is where we're now seeing some of that stronger weather heading right toward Union and, of course, north of Union as well. So these areas are of greater concern, and there you have it. As we watch these velocity scans, the brighter greens matching up with the reds are not as organized as they were a short time ago, but look at what Kendra's showing us here. Upwards of 30 to 35 mile per hour wind speeds within this system. That could take trees down. That could impact your power. I actually had a power outage here on Pelham Road a little while ago.
And all the traffic lights were out as well.
We didn't even have that severe weather. It was just a regular thunderstorm. So these areas under this severe weather, really at risk for power concerns. So you need to stay away from your windows. You need to stay indoors. And of course, just wait this one out in your safe place. West Springs, you're not quite under the major imminent threat, but you're right on the edge of it there on the county line. Stay in a safe place for you. Jonesville, again, right in the midst of this concern, coming up on almost 8 o'clock this morning. So Union, Jonesville, Kelly areas, all within the threat of severe weather. Cross Keys, I'm going to go ahead and call you clear now. I know it's still raining, probably still a little bit breezy, but you're now in the clear from that tornado threat. It was over you for almost a half hour, so I understand you need to get out and breathe a breath of fresh air there for a moment. The rest of Union County, though, west of Union and in toward Jonesville, that's where the tornado threat is imminent at this point. And again, Kendra, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have not yet had any official reports of a tornado on the ground.
No reports of a tornado. All of this has been radar indicated, and we just had a statement put out by National Weather Service basically saying that as this storm continues to move north, it's going to be getting into more stable air, which should allow for a weakening trend. And then we're going to be looking at a lull in the activity once this line pushes east of Union and Cherokee County out of our counties. There's going to be quite a lull until our threat develops into the afternoon. And there's signs that we may end up seeing more of that severe weather threat shift east today because of what we're seeing this morning. Yeah. And that's what we're hoping for. But right now, our main concern is just what's happening now. And again, Union County really in the worst of it, but just kind of out of an abundance of caution, they have Spartanburg County still included in that warning since you're on the edge of that area of rotation. And Nicole, it's interesting. You can really see on radar this little
divot
here,
yep, just enough.
That rotation, and it could just be upper level rotation, the kind that doesn't actually make it to the ground, but it's just not worth risking. You need to be in your safe place for sure.
Absolutely, and that's just north of Cross Keys now by a couple of miles and pushing out in toward areas toward Union, toward Jonesville, toward Kelly and Kelton. Kelton now popping up here as a concerned area. Some of these look to be beyond the warning time frame. Kendra, 7:45 is when that warning goes until, but that doesn't mean you're in the clear. You need to stay in your safe place. This is the last line that we're going to watch for several hours. So once this is through, you'll have a decent break throughout the rest of the morning. You might find some showers, but the intensity of this weather will push out of our area. We're finally getting it now into almost central Union County, right toward the city of Union. So just being very, very cautious there. Spartanburg County, you're not officially in the clear, but you're getting closer as the system continues to push through Union County. Kendra, I do think it's going to end up more on that Cherokee County area towards Sarrett.
That's right. And, you know, again, Union County is our greatest concern. Cross Keys, I think we can almost give you an all clear as this begins to start shifting north of you. But give it a few more minutes before you come out of your safe place. City of Union, this is going to come very close to you, if not over the western portion of the town. So we need you to be taking those tornado safety precautions. We're going to review those in just a second. Want to get another look, though, see if we've gotten an update on the velocities here. And we were reviewing this earlier, but this helps us to see if there is a tornado in the storm or if there's a better potential or not. And the indicator for a tornado, this velocity has been going down a bit. Still gusty wind, but we're not seeing as tight of a signature, something that would indicate a potential problem as we were seeing back when this was moving over I-26. I'll circle that area too. That was a few minutes ago, and now as the storm gets into Union County, at least packing some pretty strong wind, no doubt. But we are seeing some signs that it is at least slowly starting to cycle down. But what happened when it looked like it was cycling down earlier, it cycled back up, and they ended up extending the warning to 7:45. So there's really no telling, and that's one reason we're just staying on this so that you know what's coming. It may not be at this moment producing a tornado, but it could in 5 to 10 minutes, Nicole.
Yeah, Kendra, and the good news here too is that the sun's up now. We have the sun, it's a little bit of a brighter sky, a little bit easier to see some of what's going on, but of course the rain is still so intense in these areas of major wind, and there we go. It just did a quick jump to the north and east again, getting a little closer to Union, just halfway really between Union and West Springs. Springs. So those two towns needing to stay in your safe place. If you're down toward, the far southwestern tip of Union County, it's getting a little better for you. The West Springs, Union, Jonesville, the Sarrett area, maybe just a little outside the direct area of concern. But this is what we're watching for as we see these winds moving both toward and away from the radar. It indicates some potential rotation in the atmosphere.
We may have, I don't think we said this though, but it just happened. Spartanburg's been removed now.
Good news. There's good news too. Spartanburg, you're now removed from Spartanburg County, removed from this warning. So we're talking Union County now, central and western areas, as well as southern Cherokee County under this tornado warning, technically until 7:45, about 9 more minutes to go. And it should, the system itself, be moving into more stable air, which should allow it to lose some strength, lose some characteristics that cause this tornado concern. But for now, if you are in Union, Jonesville, or the West Springs area, right in between, Kendra, we've been watching this area. It looks a little broader now, which is some good news. Less of an intense kink, but still a concern there as far as the winds and potential rotation that could come from the storm.
Yeah, no doubt. Strong wind. And I'm going to actually more track it like a line of storms now that we're seeing that wind kind of fan out. But that would take it up into Cherokee County. Jonesville, you would feel the brunt of this. In fact, you're probably feeling that wind pick up right now. And Union, you're not technically in that storm track, but certainly you're going to feel some of the effects of this. In fact, what I'll do is I'm going to broaden our storm track here just because of the fact that we're seeing it less like an individual tornado and more of a more widespread wind issue at this point from what we're seeing on our radar technology. But there's still a radar indicated tornado, a circulation that was found in that storm. So we need to treat this like a tornado warning. So if you are in these communities, I'd like you to be in your safe place, and we can review those safety precautions as well, because we haven't had to do this in a while. I mean, it's been a good long while since we've had a tornado warning. In the spring, I feel like we all got into a groove and knew exactly what to do. But if you're just waking up and you need to seek shelter, you need to remember that you need to be away from windows, go to the lowest floor of your home, a hallway, bathroom, or closet. Those are good places, but basically just the most internal spot in your house. And if you're hearing it get really bad, grab something and put it over your head. It's never a bad idea. In this situation, we're not seeing indications of a tornado on the ground, no debris. We're not seeing any strong wind when it comes to anything over 30 or 40 miles per hour, but that could change. That's always things that we want to emphasize, it is a potential. I'm going to adjust that tornado warning box, but you can see now we actually have a couple rumbles of thunder with this, Nicole, which we really haven't had any lightning all night.
That's been what's been so curious about this system. The nature of it really has not been producing a ton of lightning, thunder. You've had majorly heavy rain. The rain's so heavy at times it might feel like thunder.
I'm sorry, just to let you know that they will be allowing the tornado warning to expire.
Good news there.
We'll stay on as long as it is officially still there, but I'm glad to see that we're in agreement with National Weather Service. They're seeing the weakening too.
Yes, the broadening of the whole storm system that should allow it to, like Kendra said, be more of a wind issue, wind and rain, of course, as it moves closer to the north and east. But Union, Jonesville, Sarrett, you're technically still in this tornado warning, and there's just enough concern still to stay in your safe place. But we are now 6 minutes away from it being allowed to expire. It's just now broadening enough and becoming weak enough and entering that more stable air to the north and east to see the consistency in this area that was a very tight rotation potential kind of broaden out and just become more of these bright green spots which show the wind.
You can really see just how it evolved. I mean, it's you can right there around I-26 in Lawrence, you can see the bright reds, bright greens together, and then it just kind of flattens out. And that's something, again, we like to see when it comes to tornadoes. Still gusty wind, and as we kind of diagnose the rest of the situation, Nicole, I'm not seeing any other areas of rotation at this point with that line. And once the line is out, we're going to have several hours without any kind of storm activity.
Yeah, let's take a wide view of what's happening just off to our west. As this system continues to weaken, we will watch it through Union and Cherokee counties. But look at this, to the west, you got flood warnings, flash flood warnings out in Rabun County, Georgia as well as the other spots in North Georgia. But there is a large gap here where we should have several hours of calmer weather before we get some of these back lines that are out toward Atlanta. Eventually, that's the last kind of round of issues that could come from this storm system. And these could provide more concern in the afternoon as they build in from the Atlanta area into the upstate and our mountains by this afternoon. But there's going to be a break in between, so there will be several hours throughout the morning where you can calm down a little bit, kind of regroup and get ready for the afternoon potential. Right now, we still have Union County and southern Cherokee County near Sarrett under this right now tornado warning that goes until 7:45. We've got 5 minutes left, and it is showing signs of weakening, of broadening, which really allows the system to kind of lose its intensity, and we'll be watching that slowly fade as it makes its way into more of Cherokee County and eventually move out into areas of North Carolina that is outside of our region and likely weakening enough that they will not be extending more of these warnings.
It's good to see some of those rain rates coming down too. You see how dark the red was back in Lawrence County and Spartanburg. You can tell it's moving into that more stable air now. It just doesn't have as much oomph to it, but still managing to produce a rumble of thunder, so it's still strong enough.
I was surprised, Kendra, that very late overnight, it was 3 or 4 a.m., and this system was at one point in Greenwood and Abbeville. It was not tornadic at that point, but it had incredibly strong rain. I don't know that I've ever seen the white pop up from this heavy rain on our radar maps, and I saw entire counties covered in the white label, which showed how intense it was, even greater by a couple, maybe at 2, even 3 inches per hour coming down at one point earlier this morning. So it was just quite intense there for a little while, and 1 or 2 rumbles of thunder have popped up on the system, but now we're seeing a little more of that here into Union County, and that's going to be what we continue to watch for going forward. But yeah, Kendra, you've been mentioning all the last couple of minutes here. We're close to being done with this particular threat.
That's right. Then I was just looking at our threats for later on today, and they are the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center really thinking that our greatest risk for severe weather later is going to be extreme, and unfortunately, as areas being affected for us right now, extreme eastern parts of the upstate, but really focused toward the Charlotte and Columbia areas. And that's because that energy will be shifting toward the east with time. So I'm hopeful that we can get a lot of those storms east of us later on this afternoon before we see more severe weather. So the last thing I want for those of you around Union County, Lawrence County, Newberry, Cherokee, all of you in the eastern sections of the upstate to have to go through another situation like this. But the good news with that, at least it would be in the afternoon, a little less jolting than when something like this happens first thing in the morning. As we all know, I mean, it's Nicole here overnight. I came in to help. I mean, there's nothing quite like hearing there's a tornado warning at 6:15 in the morning. That just, and you do the mornings all the time.
So
you can probably count on one hand how many tornado warnings you've had first thing in the morning.
Say, you know, almost 8 years here, right? On one hand, count the overnight issues like this that have happened, and numerous times it is when we do have these tropical systems. This is when we get most concerned for the overnight hours. We really just can't step away entirely from these systems. So that's why we man this weather center for you all the time. This way we're here, we're ready for you. Luckily, the threat is beginning to wind down. I know you might be starting to hear rumbles of thunder, and you still have some pretty heavy rainfall in areas of Union County, especially Spartanburg County on I-85, right to the airport almost, seeing some pretty heavy rain. But that, again, is beginning to enter more stable air, and that will continue to push to the north and east over the next 20 minutes here, and we're about 1 minute away from this expiring. Kendra.
And I just want to pass along that we have been making calls about damage. Now, again, it's dark, so it is very difficult to see damage, or it was dark. We'll probably start to get more updates, but there have been no reports of any major damage that have come in. We've been calling around to the different counties, but apparently an unconfirmed report that someone did see a funnel near 85 and Highway 9 in Spartanburg County, but this has not been verified by National Weather Service. This is, and that may not, the location of that doesn't sound like it was too close to the rotation. I'll tell you this though, we may get a lot of those kind of reports, or have a few of those because of the low-hanging clouds that we have, and there may may have been a funnel, or there could have been just some of that scud, the cloud cover that hangs really low in these kind of environments. But either way, we've certainly had quite a bit in the way of, it was near Boiling Springs in Spartanburg County.
A little farther north than where the initial threats have been.
And it can be ruled out. There's rotation all amongst this range. There could have been a quick lowering there, but we haven't had any reports of damage, thankfully, Nicole.
Which is great news. And hopefully now that we are officially at 7:45 and the tornado warning has been expired, everyone is in the clear at this point from tornado activity. We will continue to monitor not only this line of storms that will continue to give rain and some wind into Gaffney and Sarrett and areas north of Spartanburg, but it's the afternoon that we will now kind of put our focus on for the next potential line of storms that could produce tornadoes once again. And keep a reminder in our area that we actually do have flood concern that will continue as well. Flash flood watches are in place for the northern upstate and a good chunk of the southern and central mountains. And that again continues throughout what is the remnants of Hurricane Delta.
Yeah, absolutely. And still checking in with National Weather Service. They said that this is moving into more stable air. Rotation is diminished. So we feel good enough about heading back to regular programming. But you can bet that if anything spins back up, we'll be back on the air. But once this line moves out, we will get a lull, but just know that it's not over. We will still have at least a small severe weather threat this afternoon. But for continuing coverage, you can always head to foxcarolina.com as well as our Facebook page. We've been Facebook Live there this entire time, and we'll continue to bring you updates throughout the day.